Give thanks, greetings and blessed love to one and all. We do give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie I. I welcome you to another edition of the Mystic Vibration. Of course, Hon.Priest Isaac with you. And in this edition, we will be addressing a subject, as you may have seen it. It is Jesus God? That is the literal title of this edition of the Mystic Vibration. Is Jesus God? I know many of you may have read it, and because of the JESUS, you may have said, well, the title is Jesus God? Well, let me just say for clarity, I do understand, and I'm sure many do comprehend, the whole phonics. But this is English we're dealing with. English is very confusing when it comes to its phonics. Just the word phonics alone, the P and the H. P and H gives you the F sound. It's phonics. There's certain rules you just have to know in English or English. And this is why the word laugh, as I laugh, L-A-U-G-H, laugh. Where's the F? So now G and H becomes F of, and cough. So it's that's why dyslexia, the whole disease known as dyslexia, the ailment called dyslexia, is definitely mostly amongst people that speak English, read and write. And in many cases they actually cure the dyslexia by teaching them other languages such as Chinese and Japanese, languages that are based on symbolism. I could imagine what the Medunetta could do for dyslexia. So I'm just showing you, the high science that we are dealing with here. Because even in Espanol, that same JESUS is pronounced Jesus. So I'm just dealing with it in the way that it's accepted by society. Because there's a key point that I want to make in this episode. So yes, that's the topic. Is Jesus God? And I will get into that in a short moment. And let me also say as well, we have also put together what you refer to as our flash drive editions. As you would know, outside of the YouTube programs that many of you do sit and watch, we also do several radio programs, television programs, other documentaries that you've never seen, other audio documentaries that you've never heard of. I have days upon days upon days, maybe going into the months, as it relates to information that we have documented. And of course, in this modern day time, it's very easy to put a lot of this information on a flash drive. So we are making the flash drives available to you, our audience, and especially those of you who are our well-wishers, and especially those of you who definitely like to assist in the work you see us do. We are making available a lot of our programs. We have so much more information, believe me, than what you're getting even through via the internet. So much more, you must understand. Whether it's audio, video, other documentaries, there are a lot more that we have in store, some of which we really don't even market, but for those who definitely have been continually asking me about, donating to the works that you see us do, well, we have definitely put together not just a flash drive, but a series of flash drives, packed with information, hours upon hours upon hours of different programs, radio programs, other programs, Mystic Vibrations, the radio version, and lectures that I do continually, other information packed on a flash drive that you could put into your computer or whatever it is, and you can take it and store it and have it for later use. And more into the program when we conclude this edition of the Mystic Vibration. we will tell you exactly how it is that you can get, your flash drive or flash drives, depending on the what it is you desire. But yes, as I said, the topic this evening is Jesus God. And because of the dimension that I'm going to deal with it on, this is a serious one tonight. Because of the dimension that I want to deal with it on, I must say that from my perspective, the answer to that question is yes. And the question once again, is Jesus God? And to be honest, I'm going to try my best not to spend too much time on this today. And in fact, it's just clarity. We need to comprehend, first of all, who really is Jesus. That's the point, And then we have to comprehend exactly who is God. And then we can decide if Jesus is really God. But as you could see in this specific perspective, I have already come to my conclusion. And the answer is yes. We use terms loosely. God for sure is one of the terms we use loosely. I would admit for sure I'm one of the individuals that use the term God in many perspectives. But Jesus is not a term that I box about or play around with at all. I see many of us will say, well, the Jesus that I praise is not the Jesus you praise. Okay, so which Jesus do you praise? My Jesus is the black Jesus. Okay, the black Jesus with the woolly hair. Now, from my outlook, I'm talking about myself, Priest Isaac's outlook. There isn't any black Jesus, Jesus is a specific human being. That's like when you say a black Jesus in my book, it's almost as if you're talking about a black Santa Claus. There ain't no black Santa Claus. You know what I mean? There's a black Jesus. There's no black Donald Duck. There's no black Jesus. Jesus is a specific human being. Now I know off of the block many people are offended and would be turned off already just because of the way that we've begun. But no need to be offended. I'm not speaking here to offend nobody, I'm not trying to hurt no one's feeling. I'm being very realistic here. And all you have to do before you turn it off, give me at least 15 more minutes, and within that 15-minute span, whether you agree or not, and especially if you're stuck in some specific religious outlook, you may not agree, but you would at least comprehend where I am coming from. All right. Now, in the book of Daniel chapter 7, this is something that, I think we can kind of skip over. But it's basic. In the book of Daniel speaks about this vision that he had in the dream. It says, in the first year of Belshazzar, the king of Babylon, I, Daniel, had a dream and visions on my head, upon my bed. And then he said that he wrote the dream and he told the sum of the matter. Now, within this vision that Daniel had, he saw 4 mighty beasts coming out of the great sea. And it is said that these 4 beasts were diverse from each other. The first was like a lion, and it had eagle's wings. And he went on to say that he beheld until the wings were plucked up, and it was lifted from the earth, and made to stand upon his feet as a man, and a man's heart was given unto it. This is the lion with the wings. And he said he beheld another beast, a second, and this one was like a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in its mouth and between the teeth thereof. And they said thus unto it, Arise and devour much flesh. Then he said, now he saw a leopard, one like a leopard, which had on its back 4 wings, and like a fowl of the air. Paraphrasing as I'm going along, as I recall the scripture. And it says now, this leopard or this beast had 4 heads, and great dominion was given unto this beast. And then he said, now after this he saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible and strong and exceedingly vicious, and it had great teeth of iron, and devoured and rent and tore and broke into pieces and stamped the residue on the feet. And it says that it was different from the other beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns. That beast. Which one? The leopard? No. The bear? No. The lion? No. Which beast? The 4th one. Oh, what kind of beast was it? It never said. All it said, it was a beast. 10 horns, iron teeth, dreadful and terrible, strong exceedingly. No animals that we could call to really equate with this. This is just a beast. And Daniel considered the horns, 10 of them on his head. 10 horns, the man. Godzilla. And he considered the horns. And behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the root. And it says, behold, in this horn, this is a little new horn now, were eyes like the eyes of men, and mouth speaking great things. And Daniel goes on to say, hey, look, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garments was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool, his throne like the fiery flame, and his wheels as the burning fire. And that's almost another thing altogether, and depending on how we wrap this up, we will touch upon the 9th verse. But basically our story is going to seal up at the 8th verse. All right. Now, what I'm going to say now is not really, my what do you call it? My unraveling then. What I'm going to explain now is something that I'm sure many of you know. When I say my unraveling, I don't want to be cheeky, but to be very clear. When you listen to the mystic vibration, when you listen to Priest Isaac, I'm telling you straight, when you listen and you hear us put things together and unravel things, you're getting it from the primary source. I'm not lying on nobody. No human being came and explained what you hear us explain to you. Obviously, the foundation of our information is source and knowledge. But to put the knowledge together, to bring it out in a specific way and show you the mystery system unraveled. I'm telling you, we get our information straight from the Akashic records. Straight. No human being sit and say, well, listen, how you like this one? No. But what I'm going to explain now, which I consider to be very on point, is something that is well accepted, especially within the Adventist world and other worlds of theology. And I'm sure, as I said, many of you will know exactly what I'm getting to. What it is that in the 2nd book of the same Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar had a dream where he saw the head of gold and the different metal parts of the bodies going down. I don't want to stay too long on that. Silver and brass and clay and iron, etc. And Daniel clearly told Nebuchadnezzar that, listen man, the head of gold is yourself. Now many would know that Daniel 2 and Daniel 7, the dream of Nebuchadnezzar and the vision of Daniel himself is basically the same thing being played out here. So Nebuchadnezzar now, or Babylon in general, is symbolized by the lion. The lion in the book of Daniel 7 with the wings represents Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. And of course the wings obviously symbolic of swiftness, because this nation that was established was swift and conquered those that were round about it. But then of course you saw its demise, and it was given the heart of man and had to stand like man because it became weak. Now the science is very simple. This is so simple. Right in Daniel, Daniel told Nebuchadnezzar, you are the head of gold, and the body parts of the precious metals that follow down to the clay are the nations that will overthrow you and those that overthrow them. Simple. Hey, listen, this is so simple. Now, so Babylon, which is a biblical nation, is also seen in history. Listen to me good. Babylon, which is a biblical nation, is also seen in history. Now, after the lion with wings, it says that a bear arose, and this bear leaned on one side. Now, many scholars, as I said, this is not my theory now, but many scholars would say that the bear represents the Medo-Persian kingdom. I tend to agree with this, because even within the scripture, it was the Medo-Persian kingdom that took over the Babylon in the Bible. And according to history, encyclopedia, all of them, it was the Medo-Persian kingdom that conquered the kingdom of Babylon, speaking historically. Interesting. The bear went on one side because Medo-Persian is really two kingdoms, the Median and the Persian, coming together to make a kingdom, and they were relatives basically, and one kingdom excelled above the other after a while. That's why the bear went on one side. Makes sense to me. Okay, then the leopard with 4 heads, Greece. Now the book of Daniel doesn't go further than Darius the Mede and the Medo-Persian kingdom, you know. But Daniel in his vision speaks about this leopard with 4 heads and 4 wings. So if the 2 wings on the lion meant that it was swift, I guess the 4 wings on the leopard means that it's double swift. 4 heads. Greece. Alexander. So now we're looking at history again. Remember all of these kingdoms that Alexander took, including the Medo-Persian kingdoms and whatever it is that they acquired. And in 331 BCE, Alexander the Great came into Northeast Africa. We're talking about Kemet. And understand that even when he died at about 32 years of age, somewhere around there, his kingdom was divided amongst his 4 generals. 4. So the leopard moved swiftly, and the leopard had 4 wings and still had 4 heads, which represents Alexander's 4 generals. I find this quite amazing, you know, especially when it comes to the whole aspect again of the Bible. Here we stand again. And although the Bible does not lay it out in clear history, yet it gives you this jump start in the story of Nebuchadnezzar, where Daniel clearly shows Nebuchadnezzar all these dreams that you and me having, is you starting off, The head of gold, the lion is Babylon. Clear. It sets you off. Then those that follow, the metals and the animals that follow are the kingdoms that conquer. That's so simple. Kindergarten vibration, man. So then again, the bear, the double, you don't even have to look too deep. It got to be the Medo-Persian kingdom, because within the scripture, they took over. And within history, they took over. The bear, one side. Okay. Wow. Leopard forehead, they took over. That's Greece. Forehead, 4 generals, divided the kingdom into 4. Was very swift. This is quite interesting. So who conquered Greece then? It was the Roman kingdom. Oh. So which animal came after the leopard with the 4 heads? It was the beast with the 10 horns and the teeth of iron. Oh. This great beast, this was the real beast now. This was the beast. Everything else was residue on the feet. This was the real killer here. 10 horns. And these 10 horns now represents the original 10 kingdoms of Rome. Nothing to be confused about. The original Rome was divided into 10 kingdoms. I'm not talking about Rome in Italy today. Rome is the capital of Italy today. But Italy was one of the kingdoms of Rome. I'm talking about 2,000 years ago. You have the Almanani or Almani, which is Germany today. Franks, which is France. Burgundians, which is Switzerland. The Suevi, which is Portugal. The Vandals, the Visigoths, which is Spain. The Anglo-Saxon, which is England today. The Ostrogoths. The Lombards, which is Italy. And the Heruli. These are the 10 kingdoms of old Rome. And these 10 kingdoms now, if you notice, I placed 7 countries next to these 10 kingdoms. Spain and Switzerland, etc., etc. But 3 of them, I didn't place no countries next to them. Who are the 3? The Heruli, the Ostrogoths, and the Vandals. That's where you get the term Vandals from. They're vandalizing the buildings in town. Because they hate the Vandals. I'm lost. What are you saying? I don't understand. I will make you comprehend. Don't worry. The Vandals and the Heruli and the Ostrogoths are 3 kingdoms in this great Roman Empire. But they do not exist anymore. They fell out of favor with the government of the day. And they were exterminated, burnt and killed. Thousands upon thousands of people destroyed. Not by the Roman emperor, but by the Roman Pope. It was in the around 400, the mid 400s. I'm speaking of AD time now. When the emperor known as Emperor Justinian, the emperor of Rome, according to their history, gave power to the church or the pope, which is the papal. And these 3 Roman kingdoms were totally against that. They said, no, we want the rulership of our Roman emperor. We do not want to be ruled by the Roman papal, the Pope. So they preferred to be ruled by the state and not the church. But the Pope now, he wasn't with that. He didn't care nothing about them. He killed them off. So they don't have no descendants today. That's how these killers work, man. You think they don't care about nobody, not even themselves. Yeah. All right. So now, Rome. What do you have against Rome? What you talking about? I never said I have anything against Rome. I'm being a wise, open-minded, non-compromising human being. You check it. Being clear, not afraid, non-pretending, non-hypocritical human being. And unless I'm wrong, somebody can tell me where I'm wrong. Not just comment and say, oh, you fool, you don't know what you're saying. Clearly show, like I'm showing you my point. Show me where I'm wrong. Since the Bible is the Bible, man. And I must say, we get a good jump start. Again, the lion with wings is Babylon. That's like a head start, what we used to call handicap in the, where, you know, the lion with wings, Babylon. Next kingdom, Medo-Persian. I gotta repeat it, I want you to be clear. The Medo-Persian, the bear leaning up on one side, yeah. Leopard with 4 heads, Greece, yeah. Beast with 10 horns, Rome. This is history, man. And Rome had 10 kingdoms. Wow. And 3 of the horns were plucked up. Interesting. Can you imagine plucking a horn out of an animal's head? And when they pluck the tusk, kill the elephant, man. So understand the science here. A little horn arose. This little horn represents the church. It is the little horn that plucked up the 3 horns, or the 3 kingdoms that don't exist today. The Vandals, Ostrogoths, and the Heruli. I'm not going to go through that again. If you don't get it good, you can just rewind this video and listen to it again. That's the greatness of how technology is working now. Good, let us continue. So basically there's a clarity there. This beast now, the whole understanding of this beast with the horns and everything is that this beast is supposed to be the arch enemy of righteousness, the arch enemy of God. You see that 9th verse that says, he beheld until all them thrones were cast down and the Ancient of Days did sit. I'm telling you, the ancient, man, the Ancient of Days did sit. But anyway, to keep on point, when we observe now that when we consider that Rome is the arch enemy, this is the same Rome according to the biblical narrative now, leading up is the crucifier of the Son of God, as such, the Messiah, the crucifier of Christ, Rome. And moments after crucifying the Christ, they start a religion in the Christ's name. Okay. Alright. In 325 AD, most of us know of the Nicene Council of the Bishops. You should read. I will always encourage you, my brothers and sisters, again. You should do your research and read. Read. Don't just watch YouTube videos. Read. You know, don't just try to read. Do your own research. So you hear me speak of something. Don't just cock up and say, wow. Put your foot up and be eating what you're eating and smoking what you're smoking and say, yeah. And try to go and preach it to somebody tomorrow. Go and look it up. Read, at least on the computer. But it's better that you go into a book. It doesn't damage your eyes as the light you're looking into on the computer. Do your own research. Read. Very important. Okay. So, the science here again is that when we look into this history that we are dealing with, the Nicene Council 325, when we did the documentary or the episode of the Mystic Vibration, the Who Really Wrote the Bible, it's a if you've seen it, that's good. Refresh yourself with it again. It's important, you see, because you would understand that even in the time of of Queen Judith in Ethiopia. She burnt down at least a dozen ancient churches, maybe more, in Ethiopia. And those that remain are considered the oldest churches in Ethiopia today. So in other words, she burnt down churches that were older than that. You understand? St. Catherine Monastery, even in Kemet, Egypt. Some extremely old churches that you can consider, they're documented older than anything called Christianity in Rome. So in 325, when they had this Nicene Council, headed by Emperor Constantine. Headed by who? Emperor Constantine. For the little ones that are listening, we have special attention to pay to the little ones. Emperor Constantine of Rome, a killer, a maniac, nothing too good about him. He was a persecutor of the African Christians. He was a persecutor of the North African followers of the Charis. And Christ is not no Greek word. The Charis. Don't make nobody fool you. And when we say Iesus Christus, Christus is Greek. Greek might, listen, where did the Greek so-called language come from? Anything that has the us, like the Jesus and the Christus. Okay, Christus may be a Greek, reformed version, but the Charis is an ancient Kemetic term. The Charis, K-R-S-T or Q-R-S-T, that's why Q-R-S and T, again, follow each other in the alphabet. Q-R-S-T-U-V, the rays of the sun. The sun is the Charis, the Christ, the Charis, But not because us, Iesus and Christus, no. What about the word Negus? Negus isn't us. It ain't no Greek word. So listen, sometimes we're too fast, This is why I say, do your own research. We just hear somebody say something. That's something somebody heard someone say, Anything that has us is Greek. Because I've heard it too. I hear big scholars talking that kind of thing. Anything with us, anything with us, Jesus or, Christus is Greek. Yeah, so what about Negus? Come on, control yourself. You understand? So I'm just showing you the science now is that before anything of Rome that has to do with the Charis, Iesus Christus, the Christman tradition of Melchizedek, before anything dawned on them to try this out, it was well established in Africa to the point that you still have evidence of it today. That's what I'm saying. So when Constant Freak now took this up and said that he was going to Christianize Rome, he was very late in the game. And not only that, he was late in the game. His game was manipulation. You see, my brothers and sisters, this is the game that is played on us today. This is pure manipulation. That's all. We live amongst an enemy that all he and she does is manipulate the game. Hypocritically manipulate the game, but in a sense they're not hypocrites. If a hyena is acting like a hyena, pretending, it's just a hyena. A chameleon is a chameleon. It changes colors wherever it goes. In a sense, it's just being itself. So don't be upset with them. You be upset with yourself if you're off guard, because listen, the hyena is the natural enemy of the lion. So the hyena can pretend it's as friendly as it wants to be. But if you go to sleep and the hyena goes to sleep and you have some kill in the middle of both of you that you went and hunted, and when you wake up the food is gone, don't be upset with the hyena. The hyena is just being a hyena. He's doing what his instincts tell him to do. You can't really change a hyena. All right. So when these hyenas now had a council and said that they're becoming Christians, Constantine took bishops, some of them he took them out of prison to become bishops. And when Arius came to the doors of the conference, man, they assaulted Arius because Arius, the black man, was telling them, hey, a lot of what you are speaking about, I'm not with it. Because these killers, number one, whatever holy books existed, they were manipulating with the holy books tremendously. That's why all the time we refer to books in the Bible like the book of Jasper, the book of the prophet Edu. The Bible tells you to go and read these books, but where the books, they don't exist anymore. Taken out, ripped out by Constantine. This is why the African figure of the Messiah, the virgin birth, the death and resurrection of the Messiah, all these things were plagiarized and misconstrued to mean all sort of fairy tale and fancy stuff. Not to speak about the whole nature of the Messiah now. The black woolly haired dreadlock man became this Caucasian individual. The name changed. The birth date changed. Listen to this. The birth date changed. This is why Rastafari celebrate the earth day of Christ on the 7th of January. The earth day changed. The documentary or the episode of the mystic vibration I did prior to this, I was going into the whole aspect of the true land of Israel. All of that changed. I was showing you where Christ really born. In Ethiopia, they say he was born in Ethiopia in a cave, not in Palestine. No, impossible. All of that was changed. Not just at the Nicene Council of Bishops, but in a lot of these ecumenical councils that they had during that same time period. So the nature of the man changed. The man changed totally. His origin changed. His nationality changed. His color changed. His hair changed. His mother and father basically changed, because now you take his father totally out of the picture and try to falsify all kind of things. And his name changed too. Basically, it wasn't the same person. It was somebody else. Because if you're going to take a man that was born in a certain part of the earth, and then you tell me, well, he wasn't born here. He was born there. Okay. And he didn't look like this. He looked like this. He wasn't black. He was white. And he didn't have locks. He had long stringy hair. And his father wasn't really his father. A ghost came and impregnated his mother. What? And his name is not none of them names you like to call. His name is Sam. So wait a minute. This is not a different version of this man. This is a totally new person you have made altogether. Even the language he spoke is not the language you're telling me he spoke. Look at the word Raka in the New Testament. Raka is a word left untranslated, and it's an Ethiopic word. So that means Christ was speaking an Ethiopic language in the Bible. So what's going on? You have created a totally new human being that you refer to as Jesus. And we know the story of the Sarepus. We understand that. We have covered this in I think it's I don't remember which documentary or which episode, but we have covered this. You just visit our YouTube channel and look at the other videos, and you could see we touched upon Sarepus. Well, I didn't really touch him, but I spoke about him, and the Ptolemy, the same Ptolemy or Ptolemy, the general of Alexander. He created this whitewashed version of Osiris. That is where it all really began. The Ptolemy created Sarepus, who came and raping, and yeah, Sarepus. Imagine that. What a rapist. Ugly looking. Mutated. Version of our Savior that we're now supposed to praise. Give me a break. Anyway, so from this Serapis, all the different versions came down until you had the Jesus and Caesar Borgia and Michelangelo came in and did his little rendition and all of that and created Jesus. So the slave ship Jesus, I'm telling you, Jesus is a totally different character than any name you call, whether it's Heru, whether it's Horus, even Horus, whether it's Yeshua, whether it's Iosus, whether it's Isa, whether it's Jesus. To be honest, I could work with any of them with understanding, depending on the weather. But Jesus cannot pass. Jesus is a specific human being. If you call someone's name, you know exactly who you're talking about. If you say Michael Jackson, you know exactly who I'm talking about. So I'm telling you, Jesus is a specific character created by the Europeans to replace, that's it, the character in our ancient mystery system, the Charis, the resurrected one, the Amsu, the Iesus Christus, the Emmanuel. You understand? So to me, Jesus is a separate human being, or not even a human being, but a separate character than anything that has to do with a black Christ. So this is why I don't entertain, well, you know, which Jesus you're talking about. I praise the black Jesus. Take it easy. Be careful. You understand? So, in surety, that is the Jesus. That is Jesus. At least that's my official position. You may disagree, but that's where I am. This is Jesus. There ain't no other Jesus. There's no black Jesus. So even in the Ethiopian Orthodox churches, some of them, the pictures I see them have up, I'm telling you, that's Jesus. Even if you say it's the Syriac version, hey, Jesus you have there. That's not no Iesus Christus. That is not Iesus. That is not Yeshua. That is not even Isa. Not Jesus. Not Emmanuel. That is Jesus. Sorry for all the foul language, my brothers and sisters, you know. Yeah, good. So now, again, clarity to my question. Is Jesus God? All right. Now, basically, the Christ figure being the Son of God is basically God in flesh. Christ is God in flesh. I don't want to beat down that concept too much. I just want to look to seal this up with clear understanding of where I'm going here. Because even before I enter into this aspect, I know many people will be saying, all right, so what's the point? How does that change anything? Can that save your soul? Listen, your enemy, unless it's an enemy saying this, your enemy took time, put time into making sure you confuse this whole concept of quote unquote God. He made sure that your words were carefully chosen, the words that you would use in prayer, in divination, in calling upon the ether. He made sure he construed that properly, knowing how it connected to the divine. Even all them words I'm still using here. But it's more than language, I agree. But when you understand the science of the language, the spell, that's why you spell words. When you comprehend the science of the language, then you can take it up a notch. Some of us, you comprehend exactly what I said, you know. But because it's touching upon you, Jesus, you kind of get upset now, like, so what? So all of a sudden, it's so what? Well, let me tell you, so what? If you are really serious, let me test you now. If you're serious, it says there's no other name that an individual can be saved by except the name of, and as I said, many people would say Jesus. Okay. If you really believe in Jesus so much, and that's the only name you can be saved by, why not call the real name? Huh? What you mean? What do you mean what I mean? You may not agree with the philosophy I just threw down. That's the philosophy. But nobody, there's no human being that can deny if somebody lived 2,000 years ago, his name was not Jesus. Nobody can deny this. Well, Jesus is just the English name. Hold on. No, give me no English name. Foolishness, you know. I just showed you that the killer, the murderer of your Jesus, is who named him Jesus. Come on, don't run from this. The person that massacred and hung your Jesus on the tree is who gave him the name Jesus. He wasn't called no Jesus. If he appears before you today and you call him Jesus, I'm sure he wouldn't even look at you. So if you really love Jesus, find out his real name. It's not too hard. This is a new day, a new time. The name ain't too hard to find. Call the real name and get the real power now. Or else you're just playing around. You're faking it. No offense, you know. You know I love you. But let's get real. Let's get real. All your Sunday church and clapping and singing, let's put it to use. His name ain't no Jesus. And I'm going to repeat. The crucifiers of him, the devil is who gave him that name. So check yourself. Alright. And it comes with more than just the name. It comes with a character. And it has a sound that emanates a certain energy. We play around too much. Let's get to God now. Yeah. Now let me just say before I go any further, I am not an atheist. I just gotta make it clear, you know, people. You have to explain things to people, you know. Your brother is definitely not an atheist. Obviously, there is a supreme being that exists because, yes, when you observe, I mean, let's just be clear. This is serious, you know. People see things how, wow, that's a miracle. What's a miracle? The fact that you could speak to me alone is a miracle. Who designed this thing that you could speak? Who designed you? Who designed everything? The atom, the cell, the protons, the neutrons, the galaxies, you know, the sun that, you know, everything that's out there, whatever you see. Well, the world is flat. Okay, listen. I don't have no time for that right now. Whether it's flat, square, or triangle, the point is, what we know as creation is so deep, so precise, mercy, that there must be an intelligent life force that not only put everything into motion, but still keeps everything in perfect balance and harmony. Wow. That life force, which is not no big bang, but that's an intelligent life force that has everything in perfect order. And it is that force that I think, I'm going to use this term, that I think people mistakenly refer to as God. Alright. Listen to me good now, we're getting hot. Why I say mistakenly? Because even when we say God, we still tend to minimize what we're thinking about, but we get into that. This is all psychology here, you know. But let us just be clear. There is that supreme being. I know I'm still, all of this supreme and being and all of that is English, you know. And creator is English. Where does the word creator come from? This may hit you off. I'm sure you know of the god Vulcan. Vulcan? That's where you get the term volcano, because the volcano represents Ptah. Vulcan is the European version of Ptah. Ptah is the volcano. And you know, the lava comes out of the volcano. The volcano is very symbolic of creation. The tectonic plates and the lava and at the bottom of the sea, and the land that comes out from the bottom of the sea, that's the land that we live on. So it's very symbolic of creation, volcanoes. Okay, so Vulcan, that's where the term volcano comes from. And as you can see, the volcano has a crater. You know, the crater where the lava is, and creator. So that's where the term creator comes from. You know, so don't get me wrong. I'm not caught up in words. Like words and, oh, don't use that word, don't use that word, and all of that. But the reason why I have to stress down on specific words is because I want you to comprehend the origin of them. So you could be even wise. I'm not telling you not to say creator or God or even your Jesus. You could, I'm just challenging you with love, Russ. That's all. And then you can make the decision. As I said, I myself, you know, the word God is a term that's definitely in my vocab. And I still decide not to use Jesus. Okay. Anyway, let's just seal up what we're sealing up here. Just so we can go and do what we have to do, and I'll free up everybody to do what they're going to do. Alright. Vulcan and the Creator. Let me just read a bit of something here from the encyclopedia. The English word God, hey, this is straight out of Wikipedia. The English word God continues the Old English God, or Gupt, Goodis in the Gothic. Please follow me. Oh boy. Good in modern Scandinavia, God in Dutch, and Gott in modern German. So we're dealing with Godis in Gothic, good, and God and Gott. I'm telling you. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue, man. Let's continue. I gotta control the vibration here. The earliest uses of the word God is in the Germanic writing, is cited in the Gothic Bible. Come on, you with me? The Gothic Bible, or Wulfila Bible. That is the very same Bible. Okay, all of this is taken from the same aspect. I'm just going down quickly. A significant number of scholars have connected this root with the names of three related Germanic tribes. So we've gone into some medieval European history here. The Geats, the Goths, and the Gutha. The Gutha. Yeah, sounds like guitar. These names may be derived from the ancient chieftain Goth. So Goth is a chieftain now. Goth also appears sometime in early medieval sagas as Odin, or one of his descendants, a former king, the Geats, Goth. I'm telling you, an ancient ancestor of Gutha, also known as Gothi, of the Goths or Gothos. Okay, let me just get it. So Odin now is in the Norse mythology. And Odin, also referred to by the Angles as Woden, and by the Lombards as Godan. The An was taken away, and he became Wod, or God. Alright. Fair enough. So you get it there. Simple. You can read it for yourself. So, without being religious, without having any dogmatic feelings, no matter what church you go to, let us speak like civilized people. The word God is not the name of, let's just say, the Almighty. Yeah, I know, but we just use, we just use God. God is just the English term for, hold on. It's so, this is how we deal with the life giver. We don't even take the time to pay attention to the specific words they give us to use. Ross, these killers are bigging up their heroes. So when you praying and you praying to God, what kind of foolishness you telling me? I don't care if you're upset. You mean to say, after all I have said, you upset with me? I should be upset with you. You mean you're praying to God? Who you think you're really praying to? Of course, the intelligent being that I spoke about can still hear you. And, that intelligent being has more comprehension and understanding than me, for sure. So don't get me wrong, I'm not off. But what I know is that God is a German general. You cannot run from that. Who has been deified as the deity known as Odin, who the Lombards call God. So here now, listen man, check what me say. I am showing you that when they were referring to so-called God as Dios and all of these terms, God was not the name for what you call God today. But at the time, there was a being called God, a deity, a German deity that went by the name of Odin, also called God in other parts of Europe. It's just like Santa Claus is called Sinterklaas and Saint Nick and Father Christmas and Bulla Claus, and so in different, that's what they call him, in different parts of Europe he has different names. So in different parts of Europe you hear about Wodan, Godan, Odin, God. So just like you would say Osiris is a god and Isis is a god, nothing goes up. There were no gods. Well, ye are all gods. Be better careful with what you're saying there. There was no gods. But in the medieval time, the German people formed a deity for themselves that they call God. And somewhere in history, the colonializers sat together as they usually do and decided to use the name of the German deity Odin. Hear me out. They decided to use the name of the German deity known as Odin and take his name for the name of the life-giving sustainer of all things that created me and you. So even us as Rastafari, when we're talking about Haile Selassie is God, them is some mad statement we're making. Haile Selassie is Haile Selassie. I don't have to equate him to no God. Straight. Jesus is God. Yeah. It's the same being. So when you see the pictures, I know this is going off crazy with some, some of the pictures, for example, some Christians, I think it's some Jehovah Witness or no, some Seventh-day Adventists. I love them all, my brothers and sisters. When they come to my house, I don't run them away. I say, come on in. Well, sometimes, have something to eat. What you're showing me today, Sister Mabel, and Sister Mabel will open her book and said, this is a picture of God, and you see a white man in the clouds and a little throne and some foil, aluminum foil paper crown on his head, one of them Burger King crowns, and he's looking down. And she said, this is God. And I said, Sister Mabel, I totally agree with you. That is God. That's Odin. That's Godan. That's Wodan. That's General Gott. You're right. You are correct. I totally agree with you. That is God. Yeah. And this is why Serapis and all of them people, Jesus, Zeus, all of them, one family, Jesus is God. Give thanks. Holy Emmanuel, I, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. I think I was clear. I don't think anyone can brand me a disbeliever. Haile Selassie, brother. Trust me. Haile Selassie. Marcus Garvey. The Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards. Them is my sustainer there. That's my life giver I talking about. Mother Menin. Life force of the woman. That's my sustainer I talking about. You can't be upset with that, especially if it's Jesus and God. But I really hope, I think the way that this was brought forward, I don't think you could misunderstand what I'm saying. I think I was very clear, and separating Jesus. That was very key. Separating Jesus from the Christ. I'm telling you. The Iesus then, the Christus, the Yeshua, very key, separating him from the Emmanuel. And then really bringing out God in from its origin, really what it's all about. And this is key. My brothers and sisters. There's more I could say, honestly, but I'll leave it at that. Again, give thanks. Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. So as I said, and let me say no. At the moment of doing this video, I have no GoFundMe page. You say, what are you talking about? Well, if you scroll down on some of my my comments, you'll see what I'm talking about. And some people contact me. No, I do not have no GoFundMe at the moment. And listen, as I said in one video, one of the main reasons, again, that you don't see us pushing or forcing the whole donation aspect, again, I think individuals must understand the value of what they get. I'm being very clear. The teachings, and there are many people that teach out there, and I notice a lot of people too, for one reason or the other, they set up their GoFundMe, and they, you could send this GoFundMe, people teaching from the basement, doing all kind of things. I have no problem with that. But those of us who really can see the value of the proper knowledge, this is my work. Well, I don't mean doing this on YouTube, but my work. I just explained at the top of the program, different radio programs, TV programs. I travel and do lectures, different parts of the world. This is my work. I live this, And I honestly think that if an individual honors the work that they see, they should do their part as well in assisting to see the work progress and to move forward. And I say that several times on behalf of others as well. What I'm saying, my brothers and sisters, you see us put our contact on the board for you. You could WhatsApp or call us. I wasn't going to say this, but let me just say this because I have some key followers. At the doing of this video, I've been strangely, barred from going into my email and my Facebook, Trust me. So even some of you who may have been sending me emails, I'm very sorry. I haven't seen them. I'm telling you. I'm working on it. I've already set up a new email address, but I'm not letting it go yet. You could imagine. I don't want to go no further. That's why I'm showing some of us. This is a very serious work, The enemy is watching us. Imagine I just wake up one morning and cannot access neither email nor Facebook. But anyway, I'm not going to say too much more on that. So that's why you see my WhatsApp and my number there. I know the enemy have me on WhatsApp too, but they don't make no difference. I don't have nothing to hide. So I'm saying, my brothers and sisters, if you really want to contribute, as I said, donate to such a movement that you see, great works taking place, please feel free. But what we have set up now officially, because we like to give back, we like to make sure everything goes in a cycle. As I said at the beginning of the program, we have compiled different editions of flash drives as such. I'm calling it the flash drive edition. As I said again, I do many different programs. I have months of programs, radio programs, lectures, audios, videos that you never see. And for those who are so anxious to be a part of what we're doing, we have made available these programs on flash drive. Some of them you get maybe 8 hours worth of program or more, depending on your contribution. So we have given you a starting point. So according to the US currency, for $50, listen to me good, for $50, a contribution of 50 United States dollars or whatever the value of that is where you are, we will send you one of these flash drive filled with hours of our reasoning lectures, radio programs where we do interview with some very important people in society and internationally, and I'm telling you, you will also receive more information depending on your contribution. So if your contribution is $100 or $150 or $500, the worth of what you give is the worth of what you would get, because the flash drive is such a simple thing, when it goes through the shipping, unlike a lot of the books and CDs, and these different things, ebooks and many other different articles that we've written, things of interest that you all will love, I'm sure, as I said, and that is what you would get for your donation or your contribution. And we're starting the donation at a simple $50. Imagine the sort of information that I'm going to be sending you for just $50 according to the United States currency. So if it's euros or pounds you're dealing with, you could convert it and it's the same value. And I know a lot of you would want to send more than that. Will you get more information for your money worth? So that's available to you, as I said, on flash drive, the Mystic Vibration, and remember the Black Christ Agenda right here on our YouTube page. So again, contact us. Thanks, my Lord. All is well. Family, love to you. Mystic Vibration, if you know your Bible and you do not know your history, the knowledge of your Bible will become a mystery. Take some real eyes to realize that are amongst us. Again, Holy Emmanuel eyes, Selassie Jah, Rastafari, blessed love. Yeah, man.
fast now boom the acoustic. Make them done know from them born and grow. Yes, the tender herb from them born and grow. Rastafari the whole the door. And he ever was so, you know. He ever was so, and it ever was so, you know. He ever was so. There's the palace down here so in a ghetto. It ever was so, you know. You born in a ghetto, you know. He ever was so. Elevate themselves for distinction, and them still seem to no that still I see rule here take us up, and it ever was so, you know. He ever was so, you know. He ever was so. He ever was so. He ever was so. Still I see rule the anciency. It ever was so. His eminency from the ancient lion of white bull of Genesis. He carried more Torah, and it ever was so, you know. He ever was.